In 2013, Kendrick Lamar changed music forever with this iconic Control verse where he called out the entire industry. This had impact that we still see today. So I asked AI in detail to simulate his entire career if he never dropped this. In 2013, he'd released Between Breaths, an EP that frankly didn't sell too well and is known as an underrated hidden gem of his. And 2 years later, he'd released Butterfly Theory, an abstract album that is super highly rated and sold 220K first week and nominated for a ton of Grammys. But after this, people were asking, can Kendrick make hits? In 2017, he'd release Rebirth of Quiet instead of releasing his album Damn, a mellow, soulful, pop-infused album. Think Childish Gambino's Awaken My Love vibes. 4 years later, he dropped The Fall Silent. This is his comeback album after 4 years of silence, and he knows people are hungry for Kendrick. It's raw, no radio hits, and just truth. It sold 400K first week. People clearly missed him. 3 years later, he'd released the album One Verse from the Throne. He'd been holding on to the Control verse up until this year, where he'd finally release it in this album. Every track is a what-if version of his career, and it sold 600K first week, his biggest debut ever. Some songs Kendrick would have been featured on in this timeline: Pink and White by Frank Ocean, Runaway and Ultralight Beam by Kanye, and Feel No Ways by Drake. But without the Control verse, Drake and Kendrick never really had a real beef, so the main beef of the 2010s and 2020s is Drake and Kanye. Taylor Swift would go on to headline the 2025 Super Bowl, and Big Sean would become one of the biggest rappers in the world, while J. Cole executive produces the Black Panther album. In this timeline, people see him more as a visionary poet than a competitive rapper, more like Andre 3000 than Tupac.